ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الكلام كلام الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. وبعد I believe that the topic that was announced, or the topic that I think is on the jadwal, was a topic that revolved around the importance of clinging to the ulama. And apparently you've heard about the importance of clinging to the ulama all day. And so on that basis, one of the brothers have just whispered to me if we could make the topic be or revolve around something connected to isti'dad or preparation for the hereafter, and something around the mawdu' of preparing for Yawm al-Qiyamah. And so the book of Sheikh Bazmou that we plan to read a portion of, we'll close that inshallah, and we'll shoot from the hip. Now, as far as the affair of al-isti'dad ikhwan Yawm al-Qiyamah, and preparing for our meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is nothing ayyuha al-ikhwa better than for us to stand before Allah Azza wa Jal and meet Him with taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That taqwa is no doubt that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, as far as when Allah Azza wa Jal discusses the affair of the prophets and the messengers. Allah mentions وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. That indeed we have given the wasiyah, the advice to those who were given the book before you, يعني you, Ya Muhammad, وَإِيَّاكُمْ, and to you yourselves, يعني you and your ummah, أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, that you should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the affair of taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no doubt elementary for the success of each and every one of us. And there is no doubt that Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, from the affairs of the Aqidah and from the things that they study, and from the things that they involve themselves in spreading and giving da'wah to, according to, are their usul and their fundamentals and their Aqidah. And from the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that which revolves around the standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the standing with Allah Azza wa Jal. No doubt Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned that in many places in the Quran. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions concerning those who are deceptive in their weights and measures. Do these individuals believe that they will not stand before the Lord of all, or they will not stand for a great day, يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, or that they will not be raised and resurrected for a great day, the day that mankind will stand before Rabbil Alameen. And so preparing for that standing, ikhwan, is that which Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they, throughout the whole of their lives, their talab lil ilm. And this is of major importance since, ikhwan, each and every one of us, inshaAllah, is and desires to be and is upon the path of seeking knowledge. And that path of seeking knowledge, ikhwan, it has a goal, it has an intent. And that intent is to draw closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Ikhwan, it is not just knowledge for knowledge's sake. It is not just knowledge for knowledge's sake. As Sufyan, he mentioned, rahimahullah ta'ala, that indeed ilm is sought ليتق الله به ومن ثم فضل ولولا ذلك لكان كسائر الأشياء. He said that knowledge is sought that one has or one fears Allah Azza wa Jal by way of it. وَمِن ثَمَّ فُضِّلٍ, and on that basis it was given virtue. وَلَوْلَا ذَلِكَ لَكَانَ كَسَائِرِ الْأَشْيَاء. If it were not for that, then it would be like سَائِرِ الْأَشْيَاء, every other thing. It wouldn't have any virtue except that the knowledge, ikhwan, is sought for the purpose of drawing closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla, closer to our Lord and our Mawla. And thus the studying of the Aqidah, when we study the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, we read in the books of Aqidah, وَالْجَنَّةُ وَالنَّارُ مَوْجُودَ حَقٍّ وَالْجَنَّةُ وَالنَّارُ حَقٍّ مَوْجُودَتَانِ لَا يَفْنَيَانِ أَبَدًا. This occurs in the Aqidah of Imam al-Tahawi, that the Jannah and the Nar are both haqq and true, and they are mawjudatan, they are present right now. La yafnayani abada, and they will never end, they're eternal. And so, ikhwan, the affair then of the issues from the fundamentals of the Aqidah, the study of fiqh, the study of tafsir, all of those topics ultimately, ikhwan, are either actions or revolve around actions that we should carry out that draw us closer to Allah, or knowledge of the usul and the fundamentals that we should believe in that will draw us closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla. For indeed the belief of the heart and the iman that is present within one's qalb is increased with ilm. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the asl and the origin of iman is in the heart, the asl of iman. Not the all of iman, but the asl of iman. As Shaykh Islam Taymiyyah mentioned, وَأَصْلُ الْإِيمَانِ فِي الْقَلْبِ وَهُوَ قَوْلُ الْقَلْبِ وَعَمَلُ الْقَلْبِ. That the origin, as he mentions in Kitab al-Iman, the origin of iman is in the heart. It is a statement and the action of the heart. And so when that is the case, that the origin and the asl of iman is in the heart, it is the increase of the knowledge of those things that are in the heart that increase a person in iman, nearness to Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, when he asked Allah Azza wa Jal, Arini kayfa tuhyi al-mawta, show me how you give life to the dead. Allah Azza wa Jal responded to him, awalam tu'min, do you not believe? قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. He said, yes, but I wish to have an increase in the itmi'nan, and the tranquility and the itmi'nan of the qalb, and the tranquility of the heart. So Allah Azza wa Jal, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he asked Allah Azza wa Jal to show him that which would increase him in that which is in the asl of his heart, the asl of his iman. And the aqidah then, from its benefits, is that it increases a person in certainty, it increases a person in yaqeen, it increases him in drawing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it increases him in thabat. And that taqwa that a person strives towards is no doubt, ikhwan, based upon our belief and based in our action. Ali radiallahu anhu, he was asked concerning iman on an occasion, and he responded by concerning taqwa on an occasion, and he responded by saying, it is huwa al-khawfu min al-jaleel. He said it is to have fear of al-jaleel, and to have fear of Allah Azza wa Jal, al-jaleel, wal-amalu bit-tanzeel, and it is to act upon the tanzeel, wal-qana'atu bil-qaleel, and it is to be satisfied with little. Al-khawf min al-jaleel, to have fear of al-jaleel,
fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْعَمَلُ بِالتَّنْزِيلِ, and to act upon the revelation. وَالْقَنَاءَةُ بِالْقَلِيلِ, and to be satisfied with little. And how severely we are in need of hearing that type of advice. To be satisfied with little. And we're living in an age of more. And we're living in an age of increase and an age of individualistic attitudes and having a love for the dunya and connection to the dunya. This is the type of advice that we should be studying and giving each other. Al-qana'atu bil-qaleel. He said, wal-qana'atu bil-qaleel wal-isti'dadu li-yawm al-raheel. And it is to prepare li-yawm al-raheel. It is to prepare for the day that we are to travel. And that, ikhwan, is advice, no doubt, that is azim jiddan. Al-khawf min al-jaleel. As far as khawf min al-jaleel, ikhwan, then again, it is only by way of the correct aqeedah, the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, that khawf is established in the heart of the abd. How would a person fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he believes that Allah is not above, not below, not taht, not left, not right, not here, not there, that he is not, he doesn't descend, he doesn't ask. All of these statements, ikhwan, as Ahl Sunnah mentioned, is nothing but negation. And that negation, ikhwan, the one that has no characteristics, if we only negate, then he who possesses no characteristics actually doesn't exist. The thing that possesses no characteristics is not this, not that, not this, then it is something that doesn't exist. So how will you fear Allah Azza wa Jal if you have such belief present within the qalb and within the heart? How will one fear Allah Azza wa Jal if he doesn't believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry, gets angry, and from his attributes is anger? How will one fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he does not believe, as it relates to these attributes, these asma'i wa sifat that revolve around the intiqam of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah taking retribution, and Allah Azza wa Jal preparing the Jahannam for those who have earned his anger and his displeasure? How will one fear Allah Azza wa Jal when he doesn't believe in his anger or his displeasure? And so it is the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, ikhwan, that will increase a person in that khawf. How will one fear Allah Azza wa Jal if he's not acquainted with the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And there is no one better acquainted with the sunnah of the Messenger than Ahlul Sunnah, Ahlul Hadith. That is their daydan. That is the thing that they constantly revolve and their lives revolve around. The sunnah, studying the sunnah, increasing in the knowledge of the sunnah, reflecting upon the sunnah. And so, for example, the statement of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Allah Azza wa Jal, or when the Messenger explained that Allah Azza wa Jal, his throne, it has how many carriers, ikhwan? Eight. Each one of those carriers, the distance from his earlobe to his shoulder blade is the travelling distance of 600 years journey. 600 years. One of the carriers. And we're not acquainted with the distance between each carrier. But the distance from his earlobe to his shoulder blade, the Messenger of Allah explained to us, is the distance of 600 years journey. Now you imagine, ikhwan, that as long as you have remembered as long as you can remember your life, that you've been traveling from that time till now. How long is that? 25 years? 30 years? 35 years? 40 years? Abu 50 fi? 50 years then. 50 years. And that is, ikhwan, just a small portion of the distance just from his earlobe to his shoulder blade. And that is one of the carriers of the throne of Allah. If that is the case with one of the carriers of the throne, then no doubt the throne is more tremendous and magnificent. And it is still only the creation of Allah, as tremendous as it is. And it in no way indicates that which is related to the kayfiyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It in no way indicates that which is related to the or our determining the azamatillah, the greatness of Allah, because we do not attempt to make qiyas or an analogy upon the creation, the creator, abadan. So as tremendous and magnificent as that throne is, it is still just the creation of Allah. How tremendous is Allah Azza wa Jalla, ikhwan? Kayfa bi'azamatillah Azza wa Jalla? If that is just the distance from the earlobe to the shoulder blade of one of its carriers. Yani, azama that we cannot imagine. Azama that we shouldn't even attempt to try and imagine. Greatness and tremendousness, ikhwan, that is way out of the realm of our meek, created minds. And so the knowledge of the likes of those ahadith increase Ahlul Sunnah in Iman, increase them in khawf and fear of Allah Azza wa Jal, increase them in fearing for themselves, increase them in fearing their standing before their Mawla. And so he mentioned وَالْخَوْفُ مِنَ الْجَلِيلِ وَالْخَوْفُ مِنَ الْجَلِيلِ وَالْعَمَلُ بِالتَّنْزِيلِ. And it is to act upon a tanzeel. Who is it, ikhwan, that acts upon the tanzeel like Ahlul Sunnah? Who is it that acts upon the revelation and has love to act upon the revelation like Ahlul Sunnah? Those whose lives, ikhwan, day and night, their living, their breathing, revolves around the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the moment that they wake up, their concern is living their lives in accordance with the Sunnah. When they're looking and concerning themselves with the affairs of their dunya, that they are from the ghuraba, in terms of them being cautious about what they do, what they don't do, what is halal, what is haram, where they work, where they shouldn't work, what type of trade they should involve themselves in, what is halal for them, what is haram for them. And Sunnah. And so they are criticized for their extremism in that regard. And that, no doubt, ikhwan, is what increases them in ghurba. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he discusses that, ikhwan, in a number of his writings, that when he looks around him, the Sahib Sunnah, when he looks around him, he's in ghurba, he's in strangeness. Strangeness as it relates to the affairs of his dunya. Strangeness in his manner of practicing the deed. Strangeness in his dress. Strangeness in his belief. And that increases him in understanding the likes of the statement of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bada al-Islam and so ikhwan, Ahlul Sunnah are those who act upon, no doubt, in the best way, and should be from those who act upon this second piece of advice, or this second definition of Ali radiallahu anhu, وَالْعَمَلُ بِالتَّنْزِيلِ. For indeed it is acting upon the tanzeel that draws a person closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and no doubt grants him success in the dunya and the hereafter. وَالْقَنَاعَةُ بِالْقَلِيلِ. And it is that a person is satisfied with qaleel. His qana'a bil qaleel, we find ikhwan the ai of Ahlul Sunnah advising with that. al-qana'atu bil-qaleel. That is that they were satisfied with little. And we saw up to this present day many examples, ikhwan, of how our ulama have been satisfied with qaleel. Sheikh Muhammad Amin al-Shinqiti rahimahullah ta'ala, if any of you have visited Medina, you may have passed by the house of Sheikh Muhammad Amin. He used to live in an area known as Sih, which is one of the poorer areas in the city of Medina, and it is lived in by the Shanaqita, and the people of Mauritania from that region, and it is a poorer area in Medina. And the house of the Sheikh to this day is present, a small humble home, ikhwan, one of those small handmade homes, Bayt Sha'bi, and is present, ikhwan, at the end of Sih. The Sheikh, being the Imam that he was and having the type of shuhra that he has, he was approached by one of the Umara, an Amir, who said that, you're Sheikhana, you're from our ulama, and so I have built for you a villa in one of the nicer areas in Medina, a spacious villa, and it is yours. And I built it, it's there, it's present, here are the keys, it's for you. And the Sheikh, ikhwan, he refused to accept the house. He refused to accept the home. And he said that I have a small home, alhamdulillah, in Sih, and it is sufficient for me. As for that, then you may give it to whomsoever you please. But I am soon to leave this dunya. And that, no doubt, ikhwan, was the attitude of the ulama of the past up until the present, that they did not have a connection with the dunya. Some of the Salaf used to say about the companions, the dunya, ikhwan, it was in their hands, not in their hearts. And as far as us, and he continues that it is in our hearts, even if we don't have it in our hands. And that, subhanallah, ikhwan, is the attitude that we see present among many of us. It is in our hearts, even if we don't even have it in our hands. Poor, broke, but still loving that dunya. And that, ikhwan, is a musibah. And so Ali radiallahu anhu, he mentioned وَالْقَنَاعَةُ بِالْقَلِيلِ, الْقَنَاعَةُ بِالْقَلِيلِ. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as occurs, ikhwan, in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Shakhir radiallahu anhu, he mentioned طُوبَى لِمَنْ هُدِيَ إِلَى الْإِسْلَامِ وَكَانَ عَيْشُهُ كَفَّافًا وَقَنَّعَهُ اللَّهُ بِمَا آتَاهُ. Give glad tidings to the one who is guided to Islam, and his aish, his means of sustenance, is kaffaf. Kaffaf meaning that it is sufficient for him, and he doesn't live extravagantly, and in terms of his means, and he has enough to suffice him and his family, and take care of his needs. He said, "Tuba liman hudiya ila al-Islam." Glad tidings to the one who is guided to Islam. وَكَانَ عَيْشُهُ كَفَّافًا, and his sustenance is kaffaf, and it is sufficient for him. وَقَنَّعَهُ اللَّهُ بِمَا آتَاهُ, and Allah Azza wa Jal gives him satisfaction. And that, ikhwan, is the operative word. وَقَنَّعَهُ اللَّهُ بِمَا آتَاهُ, that he is satisfied with what Allah Azza wa Jal has given to him. Because as Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala has mentioned in his diwan, in some lines of poetry, إِذَا كُنْتَ ذَا قَلْبٍ قَنُوعٍ فَأَنْتَ وَمَالِكَ الدُّنْيَا سَوَاء. That if you have a heart that is qanu', a heart that is satisfied, then you and the king of the dunya are the same. You're satisfied. In fact, you're possibly in a better state, because a person can have the dunya and still not be satisfied. But the one who has that which suffices him, and he is satisfied with that, then what else and what more does he need? For what will he want? And so, ikhwan, Ali radiallahu anhu, he made that statement, وَالْقَنَاعَةُ بِالْقَلِيلِ هُوَ الْإِسْتِعْدَادُ لِيَوْمِ الرَّحِيلِ. and that a person prepares لِيَوْمِ الرَّحِيلِ. The day, ikhwan, that each and every one of us will travel and will leave this dunya. The day, ikhwan, that is rapidly coming to each and every one of us. The day that Allah Azza wa Jalla will take the soul of each and every one of us. And the soul will be removed from our bodies, ikhwan. The Messenger ﷺ described the removal of the soul in that lengthy hadith in the sunnah of Imam al-Tirmidhi. That if that person was a wretched person, then the soul is ripped out of the body as a skewer is pulled and ripped through wet wool. And then the angels, they travel with that soul. After the angel of death sits at the head of that individual, and he's accompanied with that large group of angels that sit behind him, to his left and to his right, as far as the eye can see, and to the horizons. That they sit awaiting for him to remove the soul. When the soul is removed, it is removed in one of two ways. If he's a wretched individual, then the Messenger ﷺ, he mentioned that that soul will be ripped out of his body, and it will be removed and pulled out of his body with difficulty, just as if one were to remove and to pull a skewer through wet wool. And no sooner does he take that body, that soul from the body, except that he passes it to those angels. That is his job, just to remove the soul. As soon as he takes that soul, he passes it to those angels, and they travel with the body through the heavens. And each heaven that they pass by the malaika, who say, who is this wretched soul? What is that putrid stench? And they continue to travel with the body and seek permission to enter the uppermost heaven. The permission is not given to that soul. Allah Azza wa Jal commands that the soul be written in Sijjeen, which is a register of the wretched. And then that soul is brought back and returned to the body. When it is returned to the body, those two angels visit him, Munkar and Nakir. Ikhwan, when we read these ahadith, we should not just read them as though they are just some academic text and theological text that we should be acquainted with and know. We should read them and reflect, ikhwan, and remember our own selves, our own souls. That it is rapidly, the time is rapidly coming towards us. That this will be our reality. This will be our soul. And then the body is, or the soul is returned to the body if it is wretched. May Allah Azza wa Jalla save us from that. The soul is returned to the body, ikhwan, and is made to sit up. And then the reality of his aqeedah will be made manifest. When he's made to sit up, the angels ask him those three questions. And we hear people saying, until when are we going to be saying, "I'lam rahimakallah"? When that book, Ikhwan al-Usul al-Thalatha, revolves around these three questions. He asked those three questions: who is your Lord? What was your deen? And who is that man that was sent to you? The Messenger of Allah, he mentioned that that individual, when he is asked who is your Lord, he will say, ah. What is your deen? He will say, ah. And who is that man that was sent to you? He will say, ah. And in some riwayat, it mentioned that he will say, I heard the people saying something, so I said as they said. And so that individual will then be struck with a mallet that will cause him to let out a scream and a yell. And the Messenger of Allah mentioned that if you were to hear it, you would die. As occurs in a variant hadith, the Messenger of Allah, he said, if you were to see what was taking place in the graves, then you would not bury your dead. When he mentioned that the blessed soul, the soul of the believer, when it is removed, it comes out of the body like water from a water skin. And that water, or that soul, when it removes, or it comes from the body like water with ease, an angel takes it and passes it to those angels. They travel with it. And they say, who is this blessed soul? And what is that? Who is this blessed fragrance, this beautiful smell? And it will be said, he is so-and-so, the son of so-and-so. And he will be mentioned by the most beautiful names. And then that soul will be given permission to enter the highest heaven. And Allah Azza wa Jal will then command that the soul is written in Illiyin. That is the register of the righteous. The soul is then returned back to the body. And that, Ikhwan, when it is returned back to the body, the Messenger ﷺ informed us that he will be asked those same 3 questions by those same angels. Who is your Lord? What was your deed? And who is that man that was sent to you? And so the believer, he will say, my Lord is Allah, my deen was Islam. And that man was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And so it will be said to him, and it's not just it will be said to him, rest. And so his grave will open up and will become a garden from the gardens of Jannah. A door from Jannah will open and he will receive from its fragrance and from its aroma. And a man will come to him with a beautiful countenance, and he will say, who are you? For indeed your countenance is one that is beautiful. And so he will say, I am your good deeds. And so then that man will say, oh Allah, hasten the day, hasten the day. A day, ayyuhal ikhwa, that is azim for that individual. Our reality, ayyuhal ikhwa, is that we do not know which of the two we are, or we will be. Will we be from among those individuals who, when their soul is returned to the body, they are unable to answer those questions because of that da'af that they had in aqidah and amal, or that pretense that they had in terms of their iman? Will we be from those who are struck and then whose ribs are, or whose body is squeezed till their rib cage interlocks with each other, and the bones of the rib cage cross? And those who that wretched man, that ugly, horrid man will visit them. And he will say, who are you? Woe is you. For indeed your countenance is one that is despicable, is horrible. And he will say, verily, I am your evil deeds. And so then that individual, he will say, oh Allah, do not bring about the day or delay the day. A door will open from the hellfire and he will receive from its heat, from its harsh flames, and he will receive from its putrid smell. That individual, ikhwan, no doubt, will recognize his fate. The reality is, ikhwan, when we are laid into that grave, placed in that grave, when our families are around that grave, and when the brothers and when our relatives are present, Salatul Janazah is prayed over the body. The washing of the body is something that will take place to each and every one of us. If we've ever washed the body, then know that our bodies, inshallah, will be washed. And that, brothers and sisters, is something that is a reality that we should reflect upon constantly. Our bodies are soon to be washed. And then our bodies, brothers and sisters, are soon to be shrouded. And we will be unable to move, still carcasses. And then, brothers and sisters, those bodies will be presented before the Jama'ah, and 4 takbirat will be performed. 4 takbir, salatul janazah. And maybe those who are unaware of the fact that you have passed away, they may ask, who is it that has died? And it will be said, Abu such and such. Then, after the janazah, the body is brought to the graveyard and you will be placed, ikhwan, in the ground, next to the worms and beside stones and rocks and dirt in darkness. And then the soil will be placed over the body. And that will continue, ikhwan, until that soil reaches the surface of the earth. Someone may say an admonition, remind us of the realities of death, and then they will walk away and leave you alone. And so when we're facing that type of reality, when we're facing that type of situation that is coming very soon, and many of us, ikhwan, we don't know whether if we have a year, 6 months, a week, a few days. Wallahi, none of us know. And our reality then, ikhwan, is that we strive our utmost in that which we have before us. For indeed, ikhwan, our time is limited, our time is short. And the shaitan will have us waste our time. But preparing for that day, ikhwan, is of the essence. And all our speech about ilm, it is this reality, ikhwan, that our knowledge and our correctness, and the correctness that we strive to be upon, it is preparing for this reality. And it is for that reason, ikhwan, that we call to it, and that we seek that khair for other than ourselves as much as we seek it for ourselves. And just as Ali radiallahu anhu, he mentioned, ikhwan, ارتحلت الدنيا مدبرة وارتحلت الآخرة مقبلة ولكل واحد منهما بنون. That indeed the dunya is traveling away from us and the hereafter is traveling towards us. And both of them have children. فكونوا من أبناء الآخرة ولا تكونوا من أبناء الدنيا. So be ye from the children of the hereafter and don't be from the children of the dunya. فإن اليوم عمل ولا حساب. Because indeed today is action and no reckoning. And tomorrow, حساب ولا عمل. Tomorrow, reckoning and no action. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ikhwan, to make our standing before Him one that is easy. And that He gathers us with the Nabiyyin wa Siddiqeen wa Shuhada'i wa Salihin. وحسن أولئك رفيقا. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا.